So I'll be putting this on Medium as well. But as the title goes, Trump supporters may get gun reform. And the reason that is because the mentality of the majority of people, if they don't experience it, then they don't think it happens. If they don't witness it, they don't think it happens or pertains to them. For example, if somebody decides to look up the news and see that some 5-year-old child got shot, they don't think about that beforehand, but then after they read it and they see the damage inflicted, then they'll say, oh, I got a 5 or a 7-year-old or a 10-year-old. Oh man, that could have happened to me. You know, that could happen to my kid. That could happen to my friend's kid. Oh no. And now they're concerned. I mean, just think about it. You didn't think about that before? People have been getting shot for over 2 centuries. I mean, it makes sense that someone's going to catch a bullet of varying ages, and they've been doing that for the longest. So what's going to happen? Why would this help get gun reform, especially Trump supporters? Because Trump supporters are, as I described, it can't happen to them because they want it. They want a civil war, but they don't think about the damage that it's going to cause them or their loved ones so long as they get it. And once it starts, then they're concerned, then they want change, then it needs to end because they didn't know such devastation and lamentation could happen to them. So that's the future if they get what they want. But right now, these Republicans, they've learned something about these Trump supporters. They're crazy and unapologetically crazy. Republican states, deep red states, are allowing permits and to carry without a permit, to carry with a license, to carry without a license. It's almost like you don't need a permit or a license or training, but if you do have those things, then it makes you official. It's weird. You don't need it, but if you got it, it's awesome. So these Republicans realize if you're not for Trump, their Trump supporters are going to get you. One way or another, they're going to get you. And when they don't need a permit, when they don't need a license, they don't need training, and they can just go pick it up, and it's a stand your ground law, when there's, precedented and unprecedented murders of people where government officials are shooting minorities, and suddenly when they realize, wait a minute, these Trump supporters will be like, hey, you didn't vote for Trump. You are for the liberals. And they've got guns. They know where you live. And they will go there. Then Republicans will start thinking, wait a minute, we got to stop this. There's nothing wrong with red flag laws. There's nothing wrong with waiting a certain amount of days before, getting a permit or a license. You need at least, 200 hours of training. That you're going to need so much. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's go ahead and make it so that if you are under any mental evaluation that you can't possess or own a gun. And if you own it, then it has to be taken away from you until you have fully recovered. And then allotted time after that has been cleared. Just to be sure, if you are on probation of any kind, then you can't have a gun. If you are a domestic violent person, if you had some DVs called upon you and whatnot, you can't own a gun. If you start fights out in places, you can't own a gun. If you go out rabble rousing for no reason, you can't own a gun. That means if you go into some protest or Black Lives Matter protest and start in trouble, well then that's when they're going to say, wait a minute, well you can have your gun for protection. You know, you're going to go there and stir up trouble. You might have to defend yourself if they want to start something with you. Let that sink in. So, Republican Trump supporters may be the very thing we need to push the not so crazy Republicans a little left and say, let's just keep the firearms from the insane, the abusive, the violent and narcissistically violent, and those who have proven to have a lack of empathy, you know, and those that get online and start riots from the comfort of their home to say, this isn't fair, this isn't right, we need to fight like hell, we got to get our country back. Yeah, those people shouldn't have firearms either. You know, people don't want to take the guns in general. People want to take the guns from those that can't wait to use them on somebody. There's a big difference. So, if there's anything good about a Trump supporter, it's just that they may give us the gun reform that we have needed for a long time. They took the guns from the Black Panthers. They made sure to arm the KKK and other police when they was rounding up slaves and whatnot. They made sure to give guns to every white person to make sure that they were protected from black people, and that hasn't changed ever since. But it's a different time. It's a slightly different country. People are woke, simplistically meaning, and don't go above it, to acknowledge disparities within race relations, and inequality, and to make them right. To do the right thing, not for your tribe, but for the country. Remove the guns from the crazy. Be forward thinking. You don't live in the past. You use the past to not repeat it and make a brighter future. There's nothing bright about wanting civil wars and bloodshed and citing that an entire country is based around the ideology of a person that doesn't care about his supporters. So, there's my 2 cents. Thank you for listening.